Charlie. All right, so we're going to get started and let folks join us as they come. I just want to take some time to welcome you all to the 2025 Access, Innovation, and Disability Symposium. We're so excited to have you all here. Funding for this symposium was made possible through CU Boulder's Impact Grant, the Office of Access and Community Engagement in the College of Arts and Sciences, CU Libraries, and Be Well. My name is Dr. Patricia Gonzalez, she, ella pronouns. You're welcome to call me Patricia. And I am a member of the symposium's planning committee and also serve as assistant dean for access and community engagement in the College of Arts and Sciences. Before I introduce our amazing speakers for today, I would like to remind everyone to please mute yourselves, or we're also able to mute you if you don't know how to mute yourself. And also would like to remind everyone that closed captioning is available by clicking the CC button. So also want to remind everyone that you are welcome to use all the reactions. So that includes emojis, the chat, to interact with each other and also with our presenters. Please note that towards the end of the presentation, we'll have a Q&A conversation with today's speakers. And you are also welcome to unmute yourself, raise your hand, or also use the chat during that time. If you prefer to send us your questions in a private message, feel free to message myself, Marisha, or Casey during this time. So thank you all for joining us for today's conversation, Universal Design for Learning, Applications in the Spanish Modified Language Program by Dr. Abdala-Mesa and PhD student Rocio Gavira Dominguez. This presentation highlights the integration of universal design for learning in Spanish 1020 and Spanish 2110, showcasing action research and student performance analysis that demonstrates a commitment to equity and empowerment. The program uses student-centered inclusive pedagogies tailored to neurodiverse learners, featuring engaging classroom activities like escape rooms, problem-solving tasks, and gamified stations. These methods foster collaboration, reflection, and accommodate diverse learning preferences, emphasizing the cognitive benefit of language study for all students. Please note this session is being recorded and later will be added to our ACE Office YouTube channel. Casey's going to add that link to the chat for you all to access that link later. Now, it is my pleasure to pass it over to my colleague Casey, who will introduce our amazing speakers for today. Casey, take it away.
Thank you, Patricia. So our two speakers are, first is Dr. Yohainna Abdala-Mesa. You're an assistant teaching professor of Spanish at the University of Colorado Boulder. She received her doctorate in Latin American Studies at Université de Toulon in France. I don't speak French. I'm sorry for botching that. Her research interests include contemporary Latin American and Latinx women's literature and cultural studies, with an emphasis on music and the intermedial arts and their relationships with intertextuality, memory, gender, and cultural identity. Her pedagogical, should be better pronouncing these, approach emphasizes creativity, experiential learning, and community outreach by bringing everyday life into the classroom and fostering critical thinking through lived experience. Our second speaker is Rocio Gavira Dominguez. Rocio is from Sevilla, Spain, and is a PhD student passionate about medieval, early modern Spanish literature and teaching. Her research explores gender, identity, race, and culture with a special focus on early female writers. And before starting her doctoral journey, she worked as an ESL teacher in Spain. Rocio holds a BA in English Studies from the University of Sevilla, a master's in education from the University of Madrid, and a master's of arts in Peninsular and Latin American literatures from here at CU Boulder. And for that, I will turn it over to our presenters.
Thank you so much, Casey, for your introduction. You nailed the names, so good job. Let me share our screen with you all. 1 second. Okay, very good. All right. So good morning, everyone. We are Rocio and Yohainna. And we are pleased to be with you all today to begin our, oops, sorry. Yes, I want to share this. Okay, so to begin our presentation today, we would like to share an engaging video, a very recent, that highlights cultural and linguistic elements pertinent to our topic. We invite you to watch it with us, featuring the talented Bad Bunny. Thank you.
So, Bad Bunny's recent appearance on Saturday Night Live delivered a powerful message to the American public. They have 4 months to learn Spanish to fully appreciate his halftime performance at the Super Bowl in February. This bold statement is not just a call to remind everyone that Latinos and our language are an integral part of the culture, history, and society in the US. It embodies a profound sense of cultural pride and highlights the richness of our heritage.
When we watch this clip, it struck a chord with us, a point in comparison for our mission each semester. We have just 4 months to immerse our students in the Spanish language, and this challenge sends a compelling message about the importance of our work. This is our shared purpose, the very reason we're together every semester, to learn, to understand, and to transmit the beauty of Spanish.
We are eager to share the story of our journey, how we passionately dedicate ourselves to teaching Spanish in the limited time of a semester at the Spanish Modified Language Program at the University of Colorado Boulder. Before we dive deeper, let us introduce ourselves. I'm Dr. Yohainna Abdala-Mesa, and I'm a teaching assistant professor at the Department of Spanish and Portuguese.
And I'm Rocio Gavira Dominguez, a PhD student, hopefully candidate, next week in early modern period Spanish literature. So let's start with 4 essential questions. Where does our learning take place? Who are our learners? How do we learn together? And most importantly, why do we teach and learn? The Spanish Modified Language Program is a leader in fostering inclusion at the University of Colorado Boulder. It was established over 20 years ago, co-hosted by the Department of Spanish and Portuguese and the Anderson Language and Technology Center, or ALTEC. This program is designed for students needing curricular modifications in their languages studies.
As instructors, we provide tailored support to help these students thrive, engage, and enjoy learning Spanish. In the spring of 2025, we had the privilege of teaching Spanish 1020, Beginner Spanish 2, and Spanish 2110, Intermediate Spanish 1, within this program. Our learners come from diverse backgrounds, including neurodiverse individuals who process information differently. Recognizing that every learner is unique is crucial. Effective teaching requires adaptability.
So instruction must be differentiated to suit each student's needs, cognitive profile, and language processing abilities. Within the Modified Language Program, we celebrate diversity as a vital aspect of the learning community. As our students identify with conditions such as ADHD, autism, dyslexia, and dyspraxia, embracing these variations creates a truly inclusive educational environment.
We have developed our approach based on Peter Scahan's work on individual differences in second language learning. In his cognitive approach, he emphasizes the importance of recognizing learners' differences in attitude, in aptitude, motivation, working memory, language learning strategies, attention, and the interplay of cognitive and affective influences.
For example, neurodiverse strengths in the classroom includes autistic learners who excel at recognizing grammar patterns, students with ADHD who can harness hyperfocus as a superpower, dyslexic students who are often gifted visual spatial thinkers, many dyspraxic learners who exhibit exceptional verbal and auditory skills, and students with auditory processing disorders who frequently develop strong visual learning and creative problem-solving abilities.
Our modified language program aims to explore how each student learns and identify what has been effective for them in the past without needing to be psychological professionals. This model provides a framework for organizing the various factors involved in the individual differences among our learners.
So, how do we plan a class when we have such a varied group of individual learners, especially when we might not be directly aware of their cognitive styles or neurodiversity? We can ask our students how they learn best, which give us valuable information. However, unless students' vocabulary shares this information, we're not here to label or classify them. Our goal is to provide learning opportunities and experiences that will benefit them.
The Universal Design for Learning UDL framework offers a way to plan activities for diverse learners. In statistical terms, variability is predictable, and this scientific predictability has been studied by CAST, the nonprofit organization that developed UDL. It is crucial to remember that there is no average brain, but we can design our curriculum to serve every learner. The UDL framework and its guidelines, engagement, or how to present information in various ways that captivates learners, representation, which allows students to demonstrate their knowledge in different formats, and action expression, which provides options to maintain interests, serve as the core values for designing classroom activities. This approach maximizes our learners' strengths while addressing the ongoing variability in learning.
Moreover, inclusive pedagogies can be integrated in our classroom through culturally relevant responsive pedagogy, or CRP, and translanguaging pedagogy. CRP emphasizes the importance of acknowledging and valuing the life experiences of diverse identities in the teaching process. On the other hand, translanguages supports the notion that students learn most effectively when they are encouraged to utilize all available linguistic resources, that is to say, their first language. Research demonstrates that with the appropriate bilingual or multilingual support, students from any background can achieve academic success.
What additional strategies can be incorporated into our educational toolbox to enhance learning outcomes? It is essential to balance the emotional dimensions of learning with empathy and adaptability. Several key strategies can be employed. Implementing multisensory and differentiated approaches to accommodate a variety of learning styles. Actively reducing affective barriers such as anxiety and overstimulation to foster a more conducive learning environment. Embracing neurodiversity as a significant driver of innovative pedagogy. And although this presentation may not permit an in-depth exploration of these theoretical frameworks, it will highlight practical examples from our classroom activities that are informed by these concepts.
Let us now consider the matter of student aptitude. Have you ever felt that language acquisition is not one of your strengths? Or that Spanish you learned in school did not become embedded in your knowledge? This may indicate that the instructional methods employed were not tailored to align with your specific learning needs. The process of learning, whether it pertains to riding a bicycle or mastering mathematical concepts, exhibits significant variability among individuals. John Carroll defined aptitude as the ability to learn quickly. Unlike motivation or anxiety, aptitude generally represents a more stable characteristic. By understanding our students' aptitudes, we can effectively challenge the prevailing belief that certain individuals are just not good at learning languages.
In the subsequent section, we will discuss collaborative learning approaches. We acknowledge that neurodiversity reflects the natural variations in cognitive functioning and information processing among individuals. As educators, our objective is to integrate scientific insights into brain function with the essential element of fostering human connection, thereby creating an enriching and effective learning environment for all our students.
So in my Spanish 1020 modified class, I organized an escape room activity on the final day to review course material in an innovative and engaging way. For those unfamiliar with escape rooms, an escape room involves a group solving puzzles and riddles within a set time, which for us was 15 minutes. For the activity, I divided the class into 4 teams and placed images on the same door around the classroom. These doors represented different themes like colors, family, food, daily routines, or numbers. To make the challenge fun, each door had 4 envelopes for each team, filled with grammar or vocabulary puzzles they needed to complete in order to continue. Teams couldn't move on the next door until I checked that their answers were correct and I could provide feedback to them. In the end, the first team to finish all the doors were crowned as the winner team. This innovative approach provided an engaging and structured environment for students to reinforce their understanding of the subject matter while fostering teamwork and problem-solving skills. Aligned with UDL principles and inclusive pedagogies, the activity fostered engagement through teamwork, curiosity, and friendly competition, appealing to various intelligences such as linguistic, logical, visual, and interpersonal. Students demonstrated understanding in multiple ways through vocabulary, connecting topics like food, family, and routines, and interpreting visuals. They moved, wrote, and collaborated, showing comprehension beyond exams. The activity reflective, inclusive, culturally relevant pedagogy. Escape rooms is something familiar in the US. Encouraging translanguaging, with Spanish and English. I learned the importance of empathy and flexibility in this exercise. Competition motivates some, others need more collaboration or differentiated challenges. It also reveals student strengths like memory, reasoning, and teamwork, all of them necessary for collective success.
Okay, now we're continuing with the second example. This is a cooking multisensory experience that I developed. And the primary objective was to utilize cooking activities as a pedagogical tool to enhance language development, particularly for our neurodiverse students. This approach situates language learning within a meaningful and authentic context, enabling learners to engage with vocabulary, grammar, and communication while expanding the traditional classroom environment. I implemented the UDL model by providing multiple means of engagement. So this is the first photo of this experience. It's Let's Cook and Share. And in Spanish, Let's Cook and Share is the commands. So this initial component of experience involved a sharing activity where each participant brought a dish or ingredients that held personal significance. Participants contributed at a variety of items, including a Philippine plant that you can see there, arepas and macaroni and cheese, while others supplied ingredients to be prepared in the classroom. While cooking, we developed grammar structures and, as I mentioned before, the commands in Spanish. Then we continued with Let's Make, or Preparemos. The students participated in setting up several of the tasting trays and engaged in the distribution of food while actively employing the target vocabulary. The next one would be Let's Smell and Touch, Olamos y Toquemos. And I also introduced packages of seeds, herbs, and spices for students to smell and touch, along with actual examples and samples of various foods for tasting. Prior to this activity, the students were familiarized with a list of sensory vocabulary expressions they had translated as part of their homework. And the last one is Let's Try and Feel. And you may use your blindfold if you want. For some students, this representation manifested through cooking, while others explored the experience of taste, smell, touch, and description. And the most adventurous group participated in a blindfolded taste test. To facilitate this, a handout featuring key terms and symbols was provided as a support tool. And I have to say, this was a very active learning environment with students freely transitioning between the kitchen and the classroom table. Cooking students would observe the tastings, and conversely, tasting students would witness the cooking process. This connection between culinary activities and the learners' backgrounds significantly engaged their interest. An important feature of the students in the modified language program is that they have been on this journey together for 3 semesters. So fostering a sense of familiarity among them is a unique approach that builds bridges with their past experience and their current moment.
So now we want to move to the third example, which is a combined experience. Yohainna and I designed a parallel learning experience for the last week of the semester, aimed at reviewing verb tenses across different levels, while reinforcing key concepts, expressions, and vocabulary learned throughout the term. We developed a series of task-based activities focused on enhancing the students' understanding of the present tense in my class and the present progressive, preterite, and imperfect in Yohainna's class. Our approach to this review was multifaceted, encompassing oral, written, visual, and auditory methods. Recognizing that these skills can be challenging to acquire, we endeavor to create a mnemonic physical experience that students could draw upon in the future when accessing this knowledge in various contexts.
So to prepare for this experience, the students were assigned homework that included listening comprehension exercises and structured practice for the relevant tenses. Additionally, we provided a video that would be featured in the karaoke session, equipping students with the necessary context and fostering engagement. Research shows that music enhances self-regulation and sensory processing, thereby setting the stage for effective communicative activities.
Here's how the karaoke mission worked, both in the classroom and online. Okay. The core of our initiative consisted of 7 missions, educational experiences, to be conducted in groups of 3 students, each designed to last approximately 7 minutes. The intent was to create diverse sensory experiences encompassing taste, sight, hearing, and touch.
Okay. Next.
Okay. You?
No, you.
Sorry. We have 2 examples of our puzzle activity for each level, demonstrating a focus on pattern recognition that incorporates visual, spatial abilities to enhance cognitive processing of language structure.
In these 2 samples, we can only observe differences between the students based on the tense of the sentence studied. Otherwise, the overall organization is similar. The pattern recognition highlights the strengths of the learners in these areas.
Our classes were held in the Anderson Learning and Technology Center, which provided the ideal environment for establishing various stations for each mission. At each station, student groups encountered clear instructions and pedagogical objectives that emphasize distinct skills and modes of communication.
For instance, in my course, I implemented a comic finding and comic explaining activity that utilized a roulette wheel that is located in Altec. The novelty of the space and the element of surprise in discovering each mission ensured and sustained the student engagement.
The outcomes of each experience were recorded using a virtual observation application called Goose Chase, which facilitates customizable digital scavenger hunts and interactive activities. Participants completed missions by submitting photos, videos, or text-based response at the ones that we are seeing in this slide. They, at the same time, they were competing on a letterboard. Here, we can see how students demonstrated their knowledge using this application, both in English and Spanish, to explain the comics. Translanguaging allows them to incorporate new linguistic elements and knowledge while showcasing their engagement.
This class had a very complex structure. To enhance accessibility, we also conducted classes via Zoom. The virtual stations were established in our learning management system, allowing students who could not attend in person to participate fully. Here are some other examples of the activities that the students participated in.
First, we have the conversation. Using a set of pre-designed cards, this activity is meant to reduce anxiety associated with spontaneous or unstructured dialogue in Spanish, providing predictable patterns of communications that help students build confidence.
The cookie catcher, el comecocos. This is a paper folding activity that is rooted in tactile and visual learning, and it emphasizes precision as we can demonstrate in the 2 examples from both classrooms. In the more advanced group, students use the subjunctive with ojalá to create well wishes, integrating emotions with fine motor coordination and problem solving.
This activity was called the Map of My Heart, or El Mapa de Mi Corazón, and this project is one of the most compelling activities, helping learners identify, organize, and express their emotion and interests. By transforming abstract feelings into spatial representations, it fosters emotional expression while building visual creativity.
And we can see an expansion of this activity in the intermediate level here. Then the next one is the come galletas, the cookie eater. And an essential aspect of effective teaching is the ability to adapt to circumstances in the classroom. One of our students brought cookies, mistakenly thinking that that was the day he needed to bring food to the classroom. So we quickly integrated this into a goose chase activity, fostering a sense of belonging for the student, a sense to being part of the experience himself.
Feedback was the final part of our activities, allowing students to express their thoughts, reflections, and insights, positive and negative, as we can see in the comments about the karaoke activity. For the ones on the left, they mentioned how the karaoke activity was the best, while in my group, the 1020 group, some of them didn't like karaoke that much. In conclusion, our journey through the Spanish Modified Language program at the University of Colorado Boulder has underscored the importance of adaptability, inclusivity, and a deep understanding of individual learning differences. By embracing the diversity of our students, we're not merely teaching a language, we're fostering a community where all students can thrive. The unique strengths that neurodiverse individuals bring to the classroom enrich our learning environment and challenge us to think creatively about our teaching strategies. As we continue to reflect on the 4 essential questions that guide our mission, we learn who we learn with, how we learn together, and why we teach.
We remain committed to enhancing the educational experience for every student by harnessing the principles of universal design for learning and valuing the cultural and linguistic contributions of our students. We can continue to cultivate an inclusive, engaging, and effective language learning environment. Let us take pride in our collective journey and look forward to the opportunities ahead as we continue to celebrate the beauty of Spanish language and the richness of our diverse community. Thank you very much. And that's us very happy about courses.
Thank you both so much. I'm seeing some love with the emojis. Keep those coming. Now we're gonna open it for Q&A. So I'm gonna go ahead and stop the recording. Thank you.